Good evening, all you cats and kittens. Good to see you tonight. Hope you don't mind if I immediately break into this, because I'm actually genuinely thirsty. That was probably super loud and annoying, and I apologize. It's a pretty last minute stream again tonight, because what I've come to notice is that... Oh, Q, I'm sorry, you're right. Excuse me. Hey, y'all, how's it going out there, all you cool cats and kittens? I'm the good guy, I promise. It's not possible for any sort of story to be set up without there being opposition. So somebody has to be the good guys. It's impossible that they could all be bad guys. Right? Talking about Tiger King, of course, if you're not following along at home. There's this show that aired beginning of the pandemic. Joe Exotic, not pardoned. You know, he came close. Seemed like, frankly, I kind of thought, I was under the impression that the last day of his presidency, Trump was just going to be handing out pardons like Biden hands out vaccines. Excuse me. So yeah, something that I've found out with this wonderfully warm weather and a lot of sun. I don't know if you can tell because of the lighting or just because of the way I usually grade. I think I always look orange either way. However, like tonight, I'm actually quite genuinely pretty, I guess, like I feel like a marionette, but I'm genuinely quite tan, I guess is the word. But what I found from that is I'm a little tall in frame, aren't I? There, it's a little better. What I found is that this can make me fall asleep in the middle of the day or the afternoon. Whereas, I didn't have that ability really before. But now, I go out in the backyard and maybe I have something in my hand that might be something like this, but maybe there's something else in it. And it's nice and humid, and all I hear are birds. And I wanted to call this live stream Brood-X because, as we all know, well, I guess we don't all know this. So for those of you who aren't on the East Coast of the United States, there's something coming to the East Coast of the United States next week. They're calling it Brood-X. And it is supposed to be a giant cicada. I don't know what they call it. Unburying, excavation, a giant cicada launch. One of the, apparently, conditions have conspired. A nice warm earth, getting warmer all the time. Conditions have conspired that the number of cicadas that are going to be coming up this year is going to be significantly more than usual. So we're going to have crazy cicadas starting next week here. So it's very easy for me to sit in a chair outside in the backyard with a wireless laptop and a beer and fall asleep. I did it yesterday, totally unplanned. I did it today, but very much like today was under control. Yesterday was crazy. Yesterday was, I was not counting on that happening. It took me very much by surprise. Today, not so much so, but it did put me in. I mean, it's still bright out now. It's crazy. The sun goes down at 8 o'clock now. And in winter, it goes down at 4:36. Something like that. The big American cricket thing. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Let me say hi to everybody real quick. Lexi, Q, Ms., Pavi. Will we actually talk about the topic? I forget what the topic is. Remind me what the topic is. Highly depends if I take calls tonight. It's been a while. I haven't taken calls in 3 weeks because I missed a week. So it's been 3 weeks. So maybe taking calls tonight would be a good idea. But this is always, Lexi, this is always a safe bet. Betting no. In fact, regarding me, like betting no is just always a safe bet, period. Whatever the bet is, if I'm involved, just bet no. Even if you have that rare occasion where no is a good thing, just bet no, and you're good. Good evening, KJ. Katharina, sorry. Oh, Poppy's hitting the mead. Oh dear, what happened, KJ? That's insensitive to ask, isn't it? I hope you're all right. If it's something that you want to share, that'd be nice. And keep to yourself. That's obviously your prerogative, not prerogative. It's Bobby Brown's prerogative. That's the way that he wants to live. It's actually warm in here. Now, this is going to be a problem. It's 88 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Is it 88 now? Right now it's 83. 83 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what, 26, I don't know. It's in the 20s Celsius. But it is a very radiant heat. I can feel it kind of coming up towards me from the floorboards and coming at me from the sides. And the lights are not helping. There's a not insignificant amount of lights. And tonight I do have you going. I do have you going. You're new, kind of. You can see the color on you is awful. Oh, the whole reason that you're there is to be able to. There we go. Okay. Your back, it's backlit. That's the problem. I didn't think that through. So, you're probably not going to get much use tonight because your whole point was to be able to zoom in on things close up, like I have the ears going tonight. But what I need to do is light back there so that it can autofocus, because right now it is not able to do that. My hair is still in horrible state of transition. KJ, I hope you're all right. Priorities not necessarily in that order. Oh, your mom is there. Oh, that's rough too. Hi, Gigi NYC. Nico Trash. Hey, Ramona and Maddie. And Flaglow. And Xava. And Leela Brune. And I hope your mom's okay, KJ. Olevi, how are you doing? Olevi. If I recall, Olevi was not feeling so well last time. This could just be we could turn this stream into like, kind of, well, certainly me, I'm a village elder. But we could always turn this into a kvetching session where we all just kind of talk about all the things that are going wrong with us, because certainly I have no dearth of things that are going wrong with me. LQ Flores, hi, how are you doing? Elijah Hill, happy Wednesday. Samantha Q, hello. Oh, PG is here. Good to see you, PG. Elijah, that's random. Have I ever played Friday the 13th game? I played the arcade Friday the 13th game. And then I remember I also played this game on TurboGrafx called Splatterhouse. TurboGrafx 16 was a console that came out around the time of the Genesis, Sega Genesis, which that probably doesn't mean anything to anybody either. But it was basically a thinly veiled Friday the 13th game. If there is a more Resident Evil-like Friday the 13th game, I'm not aware of it. Warp Raven, how are you doing? Hey, Warp Raven, I saw a foam gauntlet you made, I want to say. It's very impressive. Was it a gauntlet? I think it was a glove of some kind. I don't remember exactly, but it was very impressive. But you make a lot of impressive stuff. The thing about classical music is, there's not a lot of innovation in the genre. I mean, who's pushing that envelope today? Seriously, like who is? As black as myself, is that considered classical? Is Sakamoto, is that even considered classical? I don't think so. You can always go back, like here, you don't know what could happen. It's the news. Now, you know what's annoying me? Is I can hear the camera that I have on behind me hunting to hit its autofocus, which it isn't even doing. I'm not even using. Yeah, you hunt. See if you can. You got that? Here, everybody can see my tendon. This is where I was cut as a child. And I can't hyperextend those fingers. My desk is quite a mess, isn't it? You can see the ears here, though. That's nice. Like on their little plate. They're not actually turned on. Oh, and you can see the grid light. You can see a lot in this shot that really, I'd rather keep hidden from the public. I like this shot because you see the lament configuration right there in the corner. Just there, hanging out, reflecting amber light, doing its thing. Let's go back to you. Anyway, Butterfly Composer. Very little sympathy for you missing classical music night. You can just go back to it. Miz, is this Tiger King talk? I don't actually follow it. I was just, I don't really know what's going on there. Yeah. No, I'm aware of the principle, and certainly I knew that, as a mammal, I was susceptible to it. I just didn't think that, I thought I had a little more, what's my neocortex for, if not to override my animal brain? Oh, Lila Brune. Good luck working on your yard. What the heck is Nasha doing here? How are you doing, Nasha? It's good to see you. Oh, here we go. Emergence, Lexi, Amy. Yes, it's the Brood X emergence of cicadas. They're quite nasty looking. They're harmless. I mean, I don't know, environmentally, I don't know exactly what kind of havoc they wreak, and I'm sure a couple of decades from now there will be some kind of reckoning when it comes to, cicada swarms and what kind of damage they're doing. But for the time being, what's interesting about them is when they molt, they invariably molt, and their skin, their shells, their outer carapace will just kind of stay attached to the tree or wherever it is that they happen to choose to molt. And it's only on closer inspection that you see that it's just an empty shell. And they're, they're about that big, They're rather large insects. All the insects are coming out tonight, or are coming out in the past few weeks, as evidenced by, look at that. Oh, it's summer. It is summer, and look at that beetle that was on my gate yesterday. Oh, there's something on the front element of my lens. Didn't notice that until just now. I have to clean that lens. And then, of course, oh boy, y'all know what's coming here. Y'all know what this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not sure if that's 6 or 7. Is that 6? Is that 7? I don't know. But they, it's not just mammals that like sitting out in the warm sun. It's snucks too. That's at the little park down the road. Obviously, if you follow my Instagram, which I highly recommend you do, it's very exciting. Having just gotten the 800 millimeter equivalent lens, I'm taking every picture that everybody who gets that lens takes. So, if you want to see pictures of squirrels and bunnies and stuff, hop on over to Instagram. Nico Trash. How are you? Elisa Shabana. Good evening, Elisa. Oh, yeah, you can't say this. You can't say this without more detail. Did I say cicadas were crickets? No, if I did, it was a mistake. I didn't mean to. Maybe somebody else did. But good evening, Amy. In case I didn't, I think I said it. There is something really kind of interesting about existing beneath the surface of the earth for a decade plus, then emerging for, how long did they live once they emerge? I don't know. Oh man, I disagree with you. I do not think cicadas look like crickets. I think maybe they look like Lovecraftian crickets. My first encounter with cicadas was quite alarming. Sunscreen. Why? I want these sunspots to come up. My ex-wife is a dermatologist, and she is, she gives me plenty of guff about that. But then she also, hopefully she won't get in trouble for this. She will bring home, sometimes Jesner peel, extra Jesner peel stuff. And I can sometimes get that from her. So I don't have to go to a dermatologist. I can just put that chemical peel right on the soles of my feet. Oh my God, Olevi, your brother sounds like a terror. Now, do you mean dead cicadas or the carapace, the outer carapace of a cicada? I mean, either way, well, dead cicadas would be worse. Dead cicadas would be worse. Yeah, this is correct. What do you mean becoming? I object, butterfly composer. I'm an old man. I don't give a hell. I'm normalizing. I'm taking back being old. I went through my period where I had trouble with it. I didn't want it to be true. It took an extra long time for me because I was always the youngest by a couple years in the pack that I ran with. So I always kind of saw myself, and I have an older sister. So it's particularly difficult for me to accept. Nasha, what game? I honestly, I gotta be honest with you, I have not been much motivated to stream at all, like anything lately. When presented with the twin options of like streaming, okay, you could stream or you could do like almost anything else. I generally want to do almost anything else. And this may be because I'm vaccinated now. So I want to kind of get out, do stuff, like to some extent, be around people, right? To whatever extent I can. I still haven't done that yet. I'm still living in my cocoon. But one can aspire. I know. Give me some time to adjust to my social situation and the changes that it sort of maybe will bring. And then once things maybe settle once again, I can become more regular. That sounded vaguely... I was going to say... It sounded vaguely corporeal. Hey, KJ Bervin. 103 degrees in Phoenix. Yeah, fuck that. No, fuck that. Okay, the whole kind of like tires melting to asphalt is... And who was saying, as opposed to the heat that doesn't radiate, you know what I'm talking about? You know the difference that I'm talking about? When it gets to a certain temperature that's maintained for a certain amount of the day, then, the earth, especially if you're in or near an urban area, retains more heat. And even if it's dark and cooler out, you still are experiencing that kind of heat radiating up from the ground. That doesn't just happen like when it's just kind of warm out. And it doesn't really happen when it's not sunny out. It's specific. It's better, of course it was butterfly composer. Always trying to stir up trouble. When I say something, take the intent, not the exact letter of what I say. Celine, how are you doing? Opioids and heroin. Better than meth. well, Nasha, you say suzerain? Suzerain? It's not Caesarean. Suzerain. Political, visual novel, political sim. I'll tell you what I did get. I'm going to show it to y'all here in a second. Well, let me write this down. I'm going to forget it if I don't. I want to show it to you. Let me get to the end of the top of the stream questions. Oh, Maddie. I hope you feel better. I think you didn't feel so well last time either. So I hope it's nothing chronic and it resolves soon. There's nothing wrong with lurking. Oh shit! This is where we are in the conversation. I'm gonna have to bring it down. Sure. Great. This is something I have to take into consideration now every time I do anything. Oh yeah, the desk is pretty crazy packed, and you're not even seeing the whole of it. Like, you're just seeing part of the thing. So yeah, and man, this is so hyper saturated. That is not a good look. Hey, I'm aware of this. I have not. And my thoughts are, is it good and should I read it? What am I reading right this second? Like, literally started reading yesterday. I'm reading, oh here, wait. Let's wait for it. Oh, it's not going to work. It's super dark back there. I am an idiot. How about you? Of course, you can't really focus. Gateways to Abomination by Matthew M. Bartlett. Yes. I mean, if you have a cover like that, I'm probably going to buy your book. It's short, and not only is it short, it's highly spaced out. Let's turn to a random page here. Whereas Permilia, my wife, has for some time past behaved herself in a most unbecoming and threatening manner, abusing and ill-treating me, her lawful husband, biting and scratching like a cat gone mad, without any just cause or provocation, and hath run me considerably in debt, and hath committed the crime of adultery in the bed of Amasa Milkerton with an excess of 8 men, and has joined with the Immaculates in the worship of the leech. This is to forbid all persons from trusting her and harboring her on my account. I will not pay any bills of her contracting, reward for her return in mortal condition, or for clues as to her whereabouts. So it's like, this book is like sort of like short little bits of, I don't know, or, you know, different literary paraphernalia found about, all kind of related to this town. So, like, you know, bits of transcripts from radio broadcasts, notices like you just saw, dropped letters, all those kinds of things, journal entries. So far, it's sort of interesting. It's a little Night Vale to me. Like, I guess Night Vale sort of charged in there whenever it did. What was that, 15 years ago now? And took charge of that format and presented this sort of definitive, and also, like, ultimately, I know a lot of people love Night Vale, but I just liked it. I didn't love it. I really liked the premise. But for me, the content was always just like too jokey, and then the jokes were too much the same. It was always like, this is an announcement. The blue fog is dangerous. When it comes in contact with skin, the skin will melt. Again, if you see a blue fog creeping towards your home, please evacuate immediately to your local sheriff's office. Unless your local sheriff is Hymet Bridgerton, in which case go to the next local sheriff's office. As we all know, Sheriff Bridgerton has ingested the blue fog in the form of a liquid and is thought by many to be the source of said blue fog. That is all. It's my improv Night Vale. Obviously, I've reached for a name and Bridgerton came out. Oh, God. I haven't watched it, but obviously it's in my subconscious there, just beneath the surface. All right, I got to get down to the bottom here because I want to go grab the thing that I was going to grab to show you. Oh, God, people are talking about the snakes. No, Dildo Creek is gone. I did go back and check. Either the rains got it, or the city got it, or someone in quite dire straits indeed took it. I'm going to go down. So I'm sorry if I'm skipping your message. I'm going to go down and get to the bottom so that we can actually be in sync to some extent. Okay. Down to the bottom. Thank you, Samantha. Yes. No, there's no more Dildo Creek. All right, wait. Let me grab the thing. I should have brought it in here, but it's all right. I'm not even going to put it on pause or whatever. You can hear me trouncing around as I go get this thing. Yeah, it's warm in here. Oh, look at this. It's the whole point of these little puppies. I can pop this on. Let's put it on. Obviously, CCT, we don't need that. Crank it up. Put it where? Put it about here. Actually stick it on the... Oh my God, it sticks to the tripod. No, it doesn't quite stick to the tripod thing. That would be too... Oh, it kind of sticks there. Is it going to stay? I think it might. Does that affect this image at all? Give it a little extra light there. Okay, let's see. Let's see if this works now. What can I hold up? I can hold up my Ridge wallet, of course. Oh yeah, look. Now we've got the proper amount of light there. It's actually a bit overexposed. Let's fix that. Come on now. There we go. All right. Excellent. Fixed it. Y'all were very worried about it. You were so worried about it that I feel like I need to calm you all down a bit before I show you what I was going to show you. So let's keep it calm. Calm the fuck down, guys. You don't have to be so worked up. Jesus fucking Christ. Take a freaking chill pill. Jeez. Calm it down. Do I even have that? Yes, I do have that. Here, I'll put this up while I'm doing this. Ridge Wallet. I can say this. I think it's probably better for, I think it's probably more sanitary as far as transmitting germs than a regular wallet. So if you don't want to catch COVID from a sort of disgusting old leather wallet that just harbors all kinds of who knows what the heck in it, get a Ridge Wallet. Here, look at the sounds the Ridge Wallet can make. If you order it today, if you don't order it today, I can't guarantee it will still make these sounds. And yeah, that's just me doing. I had to tell you, I mean, here, get rid of this fucking thing. Go away. And of course, gotta lament Chad real quick. Chad, cheers to you wherever you are. I am surprised that the Ridge Wallet has been holding up this well, and I am still using it. So while I'm not officially sponsored by them anymore, because they didn't realize I was going to be doing a live stream for 35 people. Why am I sweary today? That's a good point. I generally try not to be sweary. Steakums. Oh, I loved me a steakum back in the day. You can spend so much of your life making poor dietary choices and recover from them. Leela Brune, I thought you were doing your yard. Quit procrastinating. It's time to do your yard. Rift rejected all the swearing ASMR. One day I'll do an episode of this on ephemeral Rift. And reveal all the drama. It's weird. We've been, doing this kind of Andy Kaufman sort of performance piece where we're pretending like we don't like each other. And people really believe it. It's very bizarre. So the reason that I went off camera was to get they can't all be pearls. There's going to be some. A lot of words have to come out of my mouth over the course of these couple of hours. And invariably, this is episode 34. One more episode than Frenemies has. Must be nice to have someone to share that experience with. Not be up here all by your lonesome. But no, these are, you want to know what my notes look like? My notes sections on my phone? Here's a random note from my note section. It's called Old Itch. And it just says Old Itch, as in contrast to Old Scratch. So as you know, Old Scratch is the AC kicking on. Should mention, right? There is the address to Congress, the presidential address to Congress. Is it going on right now? It might be going on right now. Wait, what am I seeing here? Voice quills. This is redundant. You don't rip in peace. You rest in peace. Or you say rip Chad. You don't rest in peace, Chad. You don't rest in peace, Chad. And I agree, Warp Raven. Phonetically speaking, and therefore Phoenicianly speaking, fuck is the best swear word. Well, I'll spill it. It will be spilled. There's a lot there. Nobody knows this, but I have hours, well, I guess a couple of people know this. I have hours of unreleased ASMR footage that I did with Paul. I never will release it. The reason we did one session where he came down, stayed in an Embassy Suites hotel in Hunt Valley, Maryland, Baltimore. And we filmed a bunch. It just so happened we'd planned this a few weeks in advance, and the weekend that he came down, I had a horrible fever. I had like 103 fever. But we had to do, had to do it. Everything was set up. Everything was happening. A lot of arrangements were made, but the end result was so bad because I could not, generally when we would do stuff, like a lot of we kind of naturally separated who did what. And a lot of what I did was tried to make the shots look good, right? Tried to light them appropriately, make it look like there was, we weren't just like sitting in a hotel room with a fluorescent light on above us, try to make it look a little more cinematic, or as cinematic as I could, or at least motivated correctly. And my fever was such that, like, one, I couldn't improv worth a damn. Like, my brain was just like scrambled. And two, I didn't care about the fucking lighting. Like, I just didn't. I was just like, I was trying to get into the headspace, and I was too sick to do it. We recorded all that. Like, there's hours of that I still have, but it just doesn't look very good, and it just didn't come out very good. And we did that more than once. So, like, for all the ones we did, there are several more that we did that did not see the light of day. I definitely have tea that I have not spilled, and I won't spill. There's multiple layers of complication going on there, and reasoning for it. But we'll see. I don't want to. This was my favorite video that I ever did, and I did it with him. Right, we did it. It's the Dream Team ASMR. So much work, and it's 5 years ago. It was more than 5 years ago now, which I can't believe that much time has passed. It does not feel like it. I really enjoyed that. Fucking loved it. It's sad to me, all the stuff that happened since. Anyway. Oh, you're not Lady Nerevar. Well, then I'm going to ignore you. So what I went out to get was, here's the thing. You say that bird flicking? I'm not sure what you're referring to when you say the bird flicking. The bird flicking. We had an ostrich. We use this. I was thinking of, introducing having a special guest on, and of all the Folkmani puppets that I have, this one is the most interesting looking. I would think he would have a lot to say. And guess what? Guess where he's from? Well, actually, his teeth are outside his mouth, so he's more of a crocodile than an alligator. But I'm saying, where are you from? Miami. You see what was happening there. So what happened there, Butterfly Composer, the bird does not clip through. The bird clips behind, because we were shooting at the time with GH4s, which have abysmal dynamic range, and therefore in order for the building to be exposed properly, the sky was completely blown out. So in post, I took that sky and I replaced it with another sky, and in the sky I replaced it with, there was a bird that flew by, and it was way too big, and you could tell, like, if it were actually the size that it flying behind the building implied, it would be a mythical rock, right? It would be a small dragon, and I just thought that was very funny, so I left it in. There are a couple things like that, like things that we left in that were maybe meant, like the commercial that we did, sort of purposely made it so you could barely read the phone number, made it so that, like, it was really poorly designed, like the title was over our faces and stuff. All this kind of stuff that was meant to make it look like there were mistakes that were actually intentional mistakes. Of course, there were probably mistakes. I'm sure there were tons of mistakes that were not intentional mistakes. Hey, Jessica, how are you doing? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember this so well. Sconces. Not scones. Sconces. Yeah. That was all him. That was he well, we both would, like, if we saw this thing that would make the other person laugh, we would make sure that we kept doing it. And then, keep trying to get that laugh. And to some extent, I lament, I feel like we could have done, good stuff. I feel like if you look at, like, the things we did that we actually published, you can see or I could see, like, a chart of them getting better. Xava, I still have one of those rabbits, not the one that was run over. Anyway, I don't know, we're spending too much time talking about this. Anyway, the thing that I went and got that I wanted to show you all was a bucket. This is obviously the bucket I put on top of my head. I'm a huge fan. I will pour one out for the era of collaborating with Paul. he was a nice guy. We ultimately just did not see eye to eye on a bunch of things, and I respect him. And I think he does great stuff, and I lament not having an adult male friend. Like, I remember when we were doing that stuff, it's kind of like, I love you, man. It was like that movie. I felt like, oh my God, I haven't made a male friend since I was 16 years old. And that's what it felt like until it didn't. Well, I guess we're on the subject. Like, the first time we met, first of all, I was shocked that he agreed to meet me. But the first time that we met was in it was a trailer converted into a diner about halfway between our houses. At the time, I lived in Baltimore. He lives where he's lived, for some time. Samantha. Oh, dentistry. I'm long past due. I'm going in June. So these chipped up, crappy things that you see will hopefully be remedied then. I do. It is. I do, and it is. It's hard to trust somebody. And it's also, the older you get, the more baggage you have. And in non-platonic relationships, you have the balm of intimate relations to kind of gloss over these things that maybe would prevent you from maybe wanting to see that person every day. But in platonic relationships, right, like, that baggage comes to the fore, at least for me. And I'm pretty, I've reached out to him. I reached out to him. He did not reach back. So I'm leaving that as it is. Anywho, right, this is not supposed to turn into this. I love, hey, okay, new section. I love board games. Don't y'all love board games? I love board games. They're great. Twilight Struggle. Excellent board game. Twilight Struggle is also very good. I really enjoy Twilight Struggle. That's a good one. Am I running this joke into the ground? There are other. I love The Fury of Dracula, but here's the problem with The Fury of Dracula. You need 4 people, 5 people. Oh, Amy. You let me get to my point. You need like 5 people to play Fury of Dracula. And I've long looked for good 2-player games, because it's obviously much easier to get another person, a single other person, than to have to orchestrate. I have played, well, I don't know if I haven't played the expansions really. But so, a 2-person game that's very good is, for instance, Twilight Struggle. Very good 2-person game, but it has to be the right person. Twilight Struggle is not for everybody. Anyway, here's my points. I have long been looking for a board game. Is this active at all? Do y'all hear that at all? Yeah. Fear of Dracula is if you're Dracula, you're just gonna win. And it's not fun for the hunters if you're playing 2-player or even 3-player. I mean, you really need I think you need 4 or 5 players to properly play Fury of Dracula. Anyway, I was looking for a board game that I could play that was 1 player. And then I even thought, well, if I found a good board game that was 1 player, I could play it either on stream or in a video. So I did my research and I found one. And no, Twilight Struggle. Part of the reason I am like a big Twilight Struggle fan is because when I worked at ZeniMax Bethesda, I worked with a guy who was one of the systems designers there and worked with him for years. And one day in casual conversation, I think we were at lunch, and he was like, oh yeah, I designed this game, Twilight Struggle. And my jaw went on the floor because I played Twilight Struggle a lot, or I had in the past. And I don't know how, his name was Ananda Gupta. And I knew his name was Ananda Gupta. And I knew that one of the game Twilight Struggle was designed by 2 people. And I knew that one of those 2 people was Ananda Gupta. And I don't know how I didn't make the connection that I had been sitting a cubicle row over from the guy that designed one of my favorite board games. But then again, in that environment, like the early days of the Elder Scrolls stuff that we were working on. So the guy who did Twilight Struggle was there. We had Zeb Cook, who's still there. Zeb Cook, he basically, he created Planescape, the Planescape universe. He did a lot of Forgotten Realms stuff. If you ever looked at the original Dungeons and Dragons stuff, he did, Isle of Dread and a whole bunch of stuff for the expert stuff. We had Lawrence Schick was there, who, I have this here? I do. I mean, this is one of my prized possessions. So I was a big Elric fan. And back in the day, you'd buy these Dungeons and Dragons modules. See, is this going to work if I do this now? Yeah. This was one of my favorite Dungeons and Dragons modules because essentially, one of the things you get from it, look how orange that is. That's not what that looks like in real life. But yeah, Lawrence Schick, I asked him to sign it for me, which he was quite embarrassed to do. And I remember asking him, I was like, can you write something correcting me? Can you write hey, jerk, I wanted him to be a little more insulting than this, but, we had to write style guides for the areas we were working on. And, I would always write style guide as 1 word, and he was quite insistent that it was 2 words. Anyway, my point is during those sort of heady early days of Elder Scrolls development, we had a lot of talented designers there, and also me. Anyway, voice quotes, it was. I looked back on that time now, and also Paul Sage was there, and he, was one of the chief designers of, was it Tabula Rasa and Ultima Online. We had a lot of people there from Knights of the Old Republic. Anyway, back to, I don't like Elder Sign. Here's what I don't like. I don't like most fantasy flight games because most fantasy flight games are random. It's you roll a die and you either do it or you don't. There's very little strategic thinking in fantasy flight games generally, for some reason. Oh, Nico, you got the vaccine. Congratulations. And the vaccine lull is, that's proof that it's doing something. It's either, destroying your platelets or giving you the antibodies that you need. Of course, it's giving you the antibodies that you need. So I wanted to find a single-player board game that was a good experience, and I went ahead and did my research. And I think I found one, or I thought I had found one, or I still think I found it. Hi, Anu 742. I did not see you. Hello, Anu 742. But I think I found one. And Old Man Hiver. This is just my personal, I don't know. They might have. I guess I shouldn't say like tar all Fantasy Flight games with that same brush, but it does seem like the Fantasy Flight games that I got is like, oh, and here's your dice, and these dice will determine the outcome of the entire game. Ooh, Space Age, I will do this. I will look into this. But that's not the one that I landed on. I landed on a different one. So I ordered it. And I noticed that it was, I remember I noticed something about it when I was ordering it. I was like, oh, hey, this seems weird. This is probably a mistake. This thing. This is like my favorite. I love seeing that avatar making pronouncements in that way. It brings joy to my life. Thank you, Flaglow, for bringing joy to my life. And all of you, by the way, all 35 of you right now, 36 of you right now, Voice Quills, do get some sleep. But yeah, thank you for the joy that you bring me on Wednesday nights. I'm getting to this story. It's taken forever. I noticed something about it when I ordered it, and I was like, well, maybe that's a typo. Maybe that's a misprint. I don't know, but go ahead, order it. It was on the expensive side. And then it arrived, and I went to pick it up, and I almost pulled my back because it's like 30 pounds, maybe 35 pounds, maybe more. And the game is Gloomhaven. Let's see if I can. Oh, God. Yes, Gloomhaven. And I'm struggling just to hold the darn thing. It weighs an incredible amount. This is probably the best camera to actually get a decent idea of what it looks like. It's flippin' huge. And you can play it with one player. So everybody is saying Gloomhaven. A lot of people are saying Gloomhaven in a way that suggests to me that they might be familiar with it. Let's get this down here so I can open up the box. Yes, Gloomhaven is 1 to 4 players. I'm trying to open the box. It's got a huge vacuum seal to it. The top does not want to come off at all. Jesus. Just me. I don't want to ruin the box, but I don't know that I'm going to close this again. All right. So, the actual board, I mean, I don't know, I have not read the rules or anything like that yet. The board part was a little bit, this looks like Ultima 2. Pretty simple. You got your city centered up here and magnified, and then just a couple of rather generic named, Gloomhaven by itself, rather generically named. Dagger Forest, Stone Road, Corpse Wood. Those aren't, I wouldn't call those particularly evocative names, but that's okay. I'm not gonna judge something based on what they decide to call their locations. Where can I start to kind of stack this stuff as I unbox it? Bet you didn't think you were getting an unboxing tonight, did you? It's got a bunch of location stickers, but the majority, who said, we've already established I'm a grandpa. This is established. The majority of the weight of this game comes from these rather large, thick cardboard, double-sided location encounter area punch-outs. Oh, can't even put that like that. So, I don't know. I'm looking forward to setting this up. I'm a big fan of things like even like Dungeon Quest. I really enjoyed playing Dungeon Quest. Still enjoy playing Dungeon. I play Dungeon Quest with my kids. That's the game where you have the dragon at the center, and you try and go steal money from the dragon and get out. And there is a little bit of strategy involved in that game. It's not full Fantasy Flight. But yeah, look at this. This is, each one of these is, this is not, material-wise, this is not cheap. And, if you judge a game by the sheer number of markers, there's a lot of markers going on here. So these are these sort of encounter play spaces, which sort of render the map, I'm assuming, moot. It is almost like an in-game map. It's you only use it until you get to an area of interest, and then you get to zoom into one of those lovely encounter punch-outs. Then it has a bunch of these, which I'm assuming are like trackers for blood. I'm guessing is health. Blood. I'm guessing is health. Feel a little weird if that was magic, but I guess that could be magic. Not a great representation of magic. This is clearly health, right? But I don't know about. But yeah, it comes with a whole bunch of these, and then it comes with. Here, let's make this so you can see it, because I really like that it comes with these sort of. A whole lot of these sealed packets, and then a whole lot of these sealed packets. And I don't know if this is the way that it's going to play out. I don't know if it's going to be like Pandemic, or it's a version of pandemic. It's actually a rule set that they're applying to a whole lot of games that make that give the games a finite lifespan. Literally, you would not be able to play it anymore past, after a certain number of times. And then it's also got a whole lot of these, which I assume are figurines or dice or something like that. Let's open one. Let's see. Yeah, it's a dude. Pretty lightweight dude. Dude there. What's up, dude? In the background of people calling me old. So it'd be a great time for him to catch up on the chat. Okay, let's do that. He's looking forward to setting it up and playing it by himself with some metal music playing in the background while he convinces himself about how cool he is. The thing about this, Nash, is I don't need to convince myself. Death Erection sounds like a crappy death metal band. Are people assuming I'm listening to metal because I have a High on Fire shirt on? I do listen to metal, but it's certainly not my primary, what I listen to primarily. You're far more likely to catch me listening to Depeche Mode and Tangerine Dream and I guess some metal in there too. Where did I buy it? Oh, I'm sorry, I bought it off Amazon. I apologize. Jessica, we've been doing a Discord gaming, and while Among Us itself is not among the games that we have been playing, there is a game that we've been playing that's just an Among Us, straight up Among Us ripoff. So you should check out the Discord. Yeah, see, right? Red health. Red's always health. Blue is always mana or magic or whatever the flip. Undead phallus. Good Lord. There was a local death metal band when I was a kid. I don't even want to say the name. But I just remember the visual it evoked. They were called Homesick Abortion. I just got this image from it that was troubling. There's another band, very good South Florida band called Load, and they had one of their shirts was a scene from the comic book Hate, which was a band. The scene was a band up on stage, the singer screaming, "I scream, you scream, we all scream for heroin." And I remember, my 16-year-old self thinking that was a super cool shirt. Had to get it. And this is what prompted me to this is why you wanted me to catch up on the chat, Butterfly Composer, so that I could see all the references to rigor mortis, rigored body parts. At least you didn't say old man. You just said man. And I appreciate that, Ms. Even if it was unintentional, which it probably was, you probably just forgot to put old in there. Go back and edit it. Put old. I keep them bare. I don't have the time or the patience to paint minis. I just don't. Wait a second, Lexi. How's that possible? That seems impossible to me. Oh, and my stream quality has just been updated. And I'm sure not for the better. You know, you don't get your stream quality has just been updated. It's now 4K. So what else is in this box? Oh, lots of like sort of action cards. You know, fairly typical stuff. Stands for your, well, it must be cards, not for the minis. I have not gotten into this. Like, I'm a little intimidated, but I do want to maybe tackle it this weekend. Oh, and these fit in these little envelopes. Let's see what's in one of these little folders, because I like the idea that they're kind of secret. Go back to this camera. So this is probably where you set your system preferences. What do we got in here? Some anthrax, maybe. The Tinkerer. At the start of the round, you can choose one path. Play 2 cards or take a long rest. I'm taking a long rest. Monster actions. Elite first, then normal and ascending numerical order. Focus on the closest, lowest initiative. Then move to maximize attack on focus. Here we go. The Quattral Tinkerer. Because of their diminutive size, the Quattral feel they have a lot to prove. Ooh, like a chihuahua barking at a larger dog. From an early age, they are encouraged to study as much as possible about many different subjects. So they are dilettantes. Though there are expert Quattrals in any field, they seem to have a particular affinity to engineering and machinery. Makes sense. Their long, delicate fingers allow them to build all manner of intricate contraptions and make life easier and augment their inferior physical strength. Like when you can't hardly lift up a board game box. Though they are not numerous, Quattrals can easily integrate themselves into any society due to their expertise in critical fields and their charming, graceful demeanor. Only a fool would shun a Quattral's offer to help. The Tinkerer is a fairly common class of Quattral to be found in any large city. They're experts in crafting all manner. Yeah, I already said this. This is redundant information. There are more adventurous tinkerers, however, who travel beyond the city walls, using all the tools at their disposal to brave the wilds in an attempt to uncover ancient. It sounds like Richard Ayoade in Gadget Man might be a Quattral tinkerer. And look at this. Yeah, got their own markers and their own particular cards. So there's a lot to digest here. I'm not going to do this on stream, obviously. But I did want to just kind of... Is it showing off? I don't really think it's showing off when it's like I want to show you all a board game I can play by myself. Because I have no friends. That'd be a strange kind of showing off, wouldn't it? Be sort of negging myself. All right, I'm not even going to try to put these things back in the box. Is there anything else interesting in here? Okay, I'm done with this game. I have to order something else. Yeah, those are all the items of interest. There's just more. There's a lot of different decks of cards. See if we can get any. Oh yeah. Little kind of silver soap action going on. Oh, and these maybe. Is that working? A little crinkling going on. Even as a child, you could feel the call of Zorn. Once worshipped as a god, his flock has long since been destroyed and disbanded. But you can hear him calling. You will travel to Gloomhaven. As he commands, you will find his remains. You will set him free. The plague will once again be embraced. I really expected that last word to be unleashed. But it wasn't. It was embraced. All right. Done with Gloomhaven for now. Close it back up. So we have this... we have this writing extravaganza going on. It is April 28th. Oh, feel better, Katharina. A lot of people seem to be feeling sick. I hope it's not. Hope it's not me. And people are talking about metal, I guess, because of the shirt I'm wearing. High on Fire is... it's really just one guy. It's been around for a really long time. It's more doom, stoner, metal. If you pressed me for like my favorite High on Fire record, it would actually probably be Dope Smoker by Sleep, which was the band that Matt Pike was in prior to High on Fire. Anyway, so we have a writing extravaganza going on. People are talking about Elder Scrolls. I enjoyed Oblivion. So Daggerfall, Morrowind, and Skyrim. But not Arena. I agree, Arena was not even like the same. Really shouldn't even be part of the canon. I might argue the same for Daggerfall. It's more like Darklands or something. Anyway, so we have, yes, colorful. Gloomhaven, it is possible to play by yourself, if that's what you're asking. No, I want to talk to people. Let's move this forward. Let's start chatting with people. Yes, see, Flaglo, here you and I differ a little bit. I loved Daggerfall when it came out, but when I got to like my 50th procedurally generated town that was almost identical to my third procedurally generated town, the idea of procedurally generated and the awe that it inspired in me, and I do think that obviously there are plays for procedural elements and Radiant AI and all that kind of stuff. I don't think... I'm getting a phone call, which I'm not going to answer. Turn my phone over. I might be being trolled. I honestly, like, the size of a game doesn't mean a thing to me anymore. The choice afforded to you in a game doesn't mean a thing to me anymore, unless they serve the narrative. Like, what I want when I play a game is an excellent narrative. I want to be enthralled. I want to be taken places, and I want to go in unexpected directions, and I want to lose myself in it. And if you can do that and maintain choice and enormous size, then great. But often, it's the triangle of time, money, right? Time, money, manpower, whatever that triangle is, where you can't get all three, unless if you increase two, you have to increase the other. And a lot of games it seems like they will lengthen two of the sides of that triangle, say scope and money, maybe, but then they won't give you time, or manpower and time, but then they won't give you money, right? It's I guess manpower is money, so sorry. Oh, shoot, behind the Wendy's. Can we just... I'd rather meet you at Wendy's for Frosties. I'm vexed. Let's get some Frosties. And dip some French fries in them Frosties. Wendy's French fries. Yeah, and this is my point, right? Like, and I did... I don't know, I'd have to go back and replay it. I played Daggerfall when it came out. That was 1,000 years ago. Hey, why don't we have somebody call in and let's talk about the Writing Extravaganza, since we are talking about the Writing Extravaganza now, and we're transitioning to that part. Let me go ahead and put the rules up again. Remember, it's $500. $500 that I am putting up, and it's so weird when I announced that. One of my old childhood friends, well, teenage friends, who was very into introduced me to the people who formed this anarchist commune, was very into veganism and straight edge bands and booking those bands. And I lived with her and another roommate for a time. And she is now like the head of a board that basically just funds women-led startups, because the statistics for angel investors and grant money for women-led startups is abysmal. It's like 2% or something like that. Well, Q, if you have something you want to talk about, for sure. This is my only... Let me put... Let's put these so they're not overlapping. But look at that, they're like right on top of each other. Nice and centered. Oh, okay, good. No, she introduced me to the people, one of whom was the radical cheerleader. But yeah, she started this corporation for women-led startups, and she chimed in that she would match half of whatever we were giving away if it specifically went to a woman. And my response to that is, well, it's random, so I don't want to, but I do want to set something up like that with her. So I want to talk to her about that, doing that for the next time. But if you want to, if you have something specific you want to talk about, email here, right? But have something specific you want to talk about. Or if you want to discuss what you're writing if you're engaged in the writing extravaganza. Let me remind everybody, right? Like that I am getting a little bit of, I'm not very good at writing. I haven't done it before, or I would enter. This is not judged based on merit, and you can enter anonymously. Like I feel like my goal in this was to encourage people to write, and maybe people who haven't written before. I would say that would be like the ideal. That would be like the greatest return. I feel like, right? Like if you write all the time and you're writing another short story, but you've written hundreds in the past. I mean, maybe, this is the one that unlocks something for you, or unlocks something in your brain, but it's not likely. But if you've never written or never really committed to writing something outside of school assignments or whatever, this was the point of this was I want to give some incentive to people to do this, without them needing to worry about their level of expertise in just any in writing at all, right? Ideally, I would love for people to do this who have never written a lick in their life. And that's one of the reasons why, other reasons too, but that's one of the reasons why the cash prizes were not based on merit, but just based on sincere, genuine attempt to go outside your comfort zone. So there you go. I don't know if that answered your question, Q. I mean, really, Q, you kind of have permission to do whatever you want. It seems maybe like it's a little unfair to other people, but Q has just done, and Nash too, but done so much for me that how could I possibly say no? I answered this already. It was she, and she basically said, if you fund a woman's story, she would match it, 50% of it. I didn't think that was fair because I don't want it to be like a men and women can enter, but if a man wins, they win $200, but if a woman wins, they win $300, right? But I do think it's worthwhile to do one that is focused on women participants. And that means anyone who identifies as a woman. Hopefully that goes without saying. So let's see if anybody has emailed in. Why is seems like I'm not logged in. That's why. Strange. What the hell is this? This is not allowed. Something just happened that is not allowed. And I'm going to be very... Levy, I am calling you out. What you just did is not allowed. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to turn it down. It's very generous, but I'm gonna have to turn it down. It was very kind and shocking, but I cannot accept it. Here, I got a email from Q. It says, "Hey, it's Q. And I've got my, the Google quick response. That's one of them is, hey, what's up? So let's respond to Q. Hey, what's up, Q? I'm sorry, I was referring to Levy just pledged an ungodly amount on Patreon, which I can't accept. But I do think it was very kind. But I shan't be accepting, and I have to remember this because it's almost the end of the month. It's very clever, Levy, to do that like a day before they charge. So I got to remember to turn it down after the stream. I'm just going to have an email conversation with Q here, but it's going to be only with Google quick replies. So, hey, what's up? Nothing. What's good with you? Cool. Talk to you later. No. Okay. I will. Let's see what only person who has written in who wants to talk is Q, which I want to talk to Q, but what about the rest of y'all? I know for a fact I saw that Lisa said that she would call in, but I don't see her email appearing. All right, interview window. Copy link. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to frighten anyone into thinking something actually bad had happened. It was I don't mind. I'll accept reasonable amounts, but there's a reason that I got rid of the $50 a month patron level. It just felt like there's no way I just felt bad. Made me feel bad accepting that. And to people who say like, oh, well, but you're doing this thing and you're giving away $500. Okay, but I've had months and months and months of collecting Patreon money. And I want to give some of that back. This is not Q, look, I sent you back the call-in link. So now it's just waiting, and maybe should I?
Best I can tell is that the common denominator that is bipartisan, that can be scaled across humanity, is values. You can be whatever color, shape, size you want to be, but we all need to share a common set of values. Let's be fair to each other. Let's be free.
I can't even get through. Cannot even get through that whole thing again. No, not going to happen. In fact, it's strange. I loved season 1 of True Detective, and in large part because of Matthew McConaughey, and he's destroying that for me now. How dare he do that? I did. I called. Yep. McConaughey was just hanging around, and I was able to give him a call, and it's been a couple of days since It's all about loyalty. You gotta have a lot of loyalty, and you gotta be. Look, if I've learned one thing in this life. It's that if you want to be an actor, don't try very hard. Instead of trying, just kind of forget about it. Don't really try at all. Go on a 6-week backpacking hike with your friends, just like The Ritual, that movie on Netflix. Don't go to Norway. Hike in Europe, but don't hike in Norway, because then you're going to end up with your innards splayed across the closely growing trees. And that's not really a good look for anybody. So go on a 6-week hike, and when you come back, Richard Linklater will give you a part in a movie, and then you'll be a star. You'll be a world-renowned movie star. 28 years later, you're going to have more money than you know what to do with. You're going to be running for governor of Texas. I'm telling you. That's my life. That's what happened to me. It can happen for you too. Because if it happened for me, it can happen for anybody. So we don't need any social programs. We don't need to support the disenfranchised. We don't need to look out for the marginalized people of our community. They just need to turn to acting, but not really turn to acting. See, you gotta just try a little bit and then go away. Yeah. Loyalty. I think I'll write a book about that. I'm gonna call it Loyalty. I'm gonna call it Loyalty and then subtitle it Never Go Hiking in Norway. There's all that kind of Norse mythology, and probably the ghost of like Euronymous prowling around up there, looking to splay your innards. Yep. Loyalty. You're welcome. See, that's the thing is, try to write a song, but don't try too hard to write a song. Because if you try too hard to write a song, then, people aren't going to like it. You just got to kind of do what you want and just let it flow. And trust me, you will end up getting what you want. Sorry, Q is in the green room right now. Hold on, let me quick turn something off. Oh. That could have gone poorly. I should not have done that. But if I'm going to talk to people, the things you do to talk to people, Scott. All right, let's see if this works. You all know her as the letter after P. Sometimes she goes as the letter before R. And sometimes goes by nothing at all. So, nothing at all. What is that? That's The Simpsons, isn't it? Nothing at all. Nothing at all. The person who called me out for apparently basing a video on a Simpsons bit, and I didn't realize it until after they told me that apparently it was based on a Simpsons bit, was not intentional. Q, it was not intentional.
I believe you.
I don't know if you do. Could you talk for a second?
Can
I can hear you. You're a bit low. Try again.
Is this better?
It's pretty low. I've got you boosted up all the way here. I don't know if people can people hear Q enough?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? I know this mic is kind of quiet, I think.
Yeah, it's showing as oh yeah, I like that shirt. Q.
Thank you. It's a binder, actually.
It's definitely a shirt. What?
This?
Wait. When you say a binder, what is a binder?
This is a chest binder.
I don't know what that is. You're speaking
It-
another language.
It makes your chest look more flat.
Oh, so it like pulls. It's like tight or something. Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I have one of those. It's not for my. It's for my midsection.
Oh yeah.
I actually bought one of those. I guess is it a corset? I guess like a man corset or something. I thought it'd be interesting to try, because I'm I have a little. I can't really show it here because I'm wearing black, which is quite calculated. But yeah. But how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Things mostly okay?
I'm okay. If I talk over you, I apologize. It's because I am kind of having trouble hearing you. It looks like from the levels that you are about half as loud as I am, but I think people seem to be able to. Oh, they're saying they can't hear anything.
Can you hear me?
Is there any way to up the gain of the microphone on your end? Because I have you maxed out on my end.
I don't think so. I think this is as loud as it goes.
That's as loud as it goes.
Yeah.
Can people hear Q? Or
Hear me when I'm talking at all, people? Yes, no?
what I can do is I can bring me down, and then if I'm down, then maybe you'll be more up.
Ah,
Whoa.
jeez.
Oh my
Sorry.
God.
I'm using my phone as a webcam.
Okay, you're not dead.
No, I'm fine.
I mean, there's no lag or anything. It seems quite, and what I hear, the quality is fine. But it's just very low. But everything's going okay. Not wonderful, great, but at least I'm getting sun. So
Yeah, sometimes that's the difference between a good day and a bad day for me.
getting the weather. You mean specifically the
Yeah,
weather?
the sunlight, yeah.
Yeah. What is the weather like where you are today?
I think it's in like the 60s or 70s right now. It's a little warmer for Iowa, anyway.
So that's actually, well, significantly warmer here. It's almost uncomfortably warm here, but not quite.
Yeah.
So let's get to the meat, Q. What are you writing?
Oh gosh. Well, I don't want to spoil what I'm writing. I think the idea is going to be better than the execution. Cuz I can't say I'm the best at writing, but I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy the idea.
So you're probably being hard on yourself, right? I mean, I'm guessing, right? I think everybody is. I know I am. I think most people in this group, I think we're all probably much more self-critical than we need to be. But I mean, really, like if your idea is good, I do obviously execution matters to an extent, but I'm also interested in good ideas, and then possibly negotiating, being able to take your idea and
Yeah.
do something with it.
It'd
Oh,
be fine with
Selkie
me.
just popped into chat. Hey, Selkie, how are you doing?
Hello.
Look at this. Like Lexi has 300 words written and is dead inside. And Lexi, you're an English teacher, aren't you?
I think she teaches geography.
Of course, I'm embarrassed. But as a teacher, would have to write quite a bit, I would think, regardless. And you got to think
Yeah.
of things to say about like all your students. So in a way, that's like fiction, right? Because you're certainly not telling the parents like what you really think about their kids. So yeah, so how are you? Are you still in the ideating phase, Q, or have you?
I am like 75% through the first draft.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have thousands of words.
Yeah, I have about 2,500 words. They're not all fully formulated. Some of that's just like word vomit ideas on the page. But yeah.
Are you gonna you created the writer's workshop? Maybe help me out on this, Q. If you could. So is the Discord channel is the Cult of Grinning Martyrs, right? That's the channel.
So that's the Discord server.
That's the server. Okay. And then the channels are...
The channels are all the individual places where you talk.
Okay, so you created this nomenclature is, get off my lawn. So you created the channel, Writer's Workshop channel.
Yeah.
Right. Are you planning on using it? Forgive me if you already have and I didn't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really extensively used it, but I intend to use it in the future.
It might be interesting, and again, like, forgive me if this has already been talked about, but what might be cool is, obviously if we're all using Google Docs and we're sharing permissions with everybody else, and you trust the people, or at least you could maybe share view permissions and then maybe the ability to comment or something like that to get feedback. I kind of think that could be really cool. A cool way to grow for like all of us to grow is by getting feedback from other people, and not just like whatever you get feedback you can incorporate and you can not incorporate, but getting critical but valid. Well, it's not always valid, but when I say valid feedback, I mean feedback that from the person's point of view is valid. You as the author, and when I say you, I don't necessarily just mean you, right? May not take that feedback or think that feedback is actually appropriate. It doesn't mean the feedback wasn't valid, right? So I'm talking about like just valid feedback, whether it's actioned on or not, or whether it needs to be actioned on or not. So like learning to accept valid feedback or valid criticism, or parse it, or get through that like slight fear that maybe some people have of even being critiqued at all. That's obviously that's a skill unto itself, like wholly apart from writing, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good at taking feedback, but I took a writing class in college, so that helped a lot.
So what you're saying is for people not to hold back when they read your stuff.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Though I feel like I'm going to share my story to people on an individual basis just because it is a horror story and maybe people don't want to read it.
Can you share it with me? Can I be one of those people that you share it with?
I'll
you don't want to,
when
right?
I submit it. When I submit it, right?
Okay. Yeah, I get that, right? You just want me to see the finished product. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that I somehow have taken the role of the de facto teacher in this scenario.
It is your contest. or extravaganza. Or
Well,
whatever you wanna
yeah, it's
call
not
it.
a contest. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's just a. Right. Yeah. So I'm fine with that. I would love to see like maybe afterwards, like see the more nascent stages of it though. Um, obviously based on what. Oh, look, see now people have emailed it. Hold on one second, Q. Do you have a story you'd like to tell or anything?
I have two things. I have something I want to show you, and then
I don't. Oh,
just a
you scare
general
you
discussion.
scare me when you say that because you're kind of like Nardwar.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know Nardwar, the human serviette?
No.
I'm old. So Nardwar, the human serviette, is someone who goes around interviewing various musicians that he is a fan of or whatever, but he will go interview them and then he'll like pull out like, do you recognize this? And then he'll pull out a teddy bear and they'll be like, that's the teddy bear my sister gave me when I was 4 years old. How the fuck did you get that, Nardwar? And he'll be like, yep, we got in contact with your sister and we got your favorite teddy bear. And like all this kind of sort of bizarre off-kilter stuff that he's able to. It's actually fascinating to watch some of his content because you have these musicians who are generally like, I know what to expect. I know, okay, here's where you ask me, do I write the music first or the lyrics first? Here's where you ask me, like, what about this album is, sets it apart from the other? Like everything is sort of like you have your stock answers to it. And Nardwar, at least he did, I think he's still doing it, sort of subverts all of the expectations of that. And often there's a few that are just great to watch because you have people coming in who are completely like, you can tell they're just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this interview. This person isn't going to get me. Like he'll interview a lot of like rappers and stuff, and he does dress. I don't want to insult the way he dresses or whatever, but he's Canadian. I shouldn't leave it. He's very Canadian. So, and then seeing like the way that they shift from this sort of cynical, oh, I have to do another one of these interviews, to at the end they're like, you literally just like did an episode of This Is My Life to me. That's also probably a reference you don't get, is it, Q?
Yeah, sorry, I don't.
Yeah, so This Is Your Life was, okay. But basically they just like disarmed them in a way that maybe wasn't entirely comfortable for them, but certainly was not what they were expecting, right? PG PG is saying he's sort of like Eric Andre, which, yeah, it is kind of like Eric Andre. Did you know that Eric Andre, if you put AM at the beginning of his name and the end of his name, it spells American Dream?
No?
Do you know who Eric Andre is?
Yeah, I know who Eric Andre is. He's
So
a force of chaos.
Yeah, if you put AM and then Eric, Andre, and then AM again, it spells out American Dream. Crazy. And it's not like he didn't choose that name, and it's not like his parents were able to choose his last name. And I kind of, I doubt that they were aware of it although maybe they were. But it just seems very odd to me. You could just add two letters to the same two letters to the beginning and end of his name, and it spells American Dream. But I'm weird about that. I'm weird about like seeing words. I don't know if I've told you this before. Like I tend to see words backwards before I see them forwards. I don't know if it's like some sort of early form of that thing that I'm blanking on right now, where you read stuff backwards instead of forwards.
Dyslexia?
Yeah. So I tend to like gravitate to those kind of like just playing word games kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess explains like the affinity with crossword puzzles. But anyway, okay, let me real quick respond to a couple of these, and then we'll get to
Okay.
that stuff. Q, is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So Elijah just shared a photo. Okay. I'm not even going to look at the photo right now. And I won't say who the people are that are. Okay. All right, let's do this.
All right. So, you're never going to believe this, but can you see it?
Can you turn it a little? Cause there you go. There it is. Perfect. Look at that. My good Lord.
Yep.
Look at the text there. There's like clearly you have an inner shadow. Like if you know Photoshop at all, it's like a generic inner shadow, outer glow. It's like a stock image of a caterpillar. Doesn't make any sense. The jewel case is green, which is nice. I do like the art on the CD itself. Have you ever? Is that sealed?
Yeah, the art. No. The jewel case is actually broken. So let me carefully open this. Well, I mean, the CD is older than me, so you have to.
That would
consider
be
that.
1995, 94.
Yep, 95. So that's a year older than me.
Yeah. So the CD, if I
Can't
recall,
really see it.
it's a comic strip of a child falling asleep, and then an insect comes and takes him away, or
And then he
her, or
flies.
them. Yeah, there you go. And if you kind of rotate it
Which
from
way?
our point of view, counterclockwise, other way.
Oh,
Yeah, so you can see like the story.
I'll post pictures on the Discord.
Right. So the bug takes him away, and then there's a whole bunch of other bugs. They're wasps, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And then the child is sort of flying. This art was done by Rafael Galvez, who was one of the brothers who ran that little independent record label.
Space Cadet.
Yeah, I hate the jewel case, but I love the art on the CD itself.
You can't really see it.
But wow,
There's also art on the inlay.
is there? I don't remember that. Is it?
Yep.
Oh, it's kind of wow, I don't remember that. But it's thematically the same as what's on the CD itself.
Yeah.
Man, if only the aesthetics of that could have been so much better if that theme had carried through. And what does the caterpillar have to do with anything? I don't know.
I don't know.
Ridiculous.
A lot of bug imagery.
Well, we were very much like about entomology, right? Like that, for some reason that was like, and I don't know why, but that was kind of a thing. Actually, wait right there. Hold on, I'll be right back. You can you talk to people for a minute?
Sure.
I'll be right back.
I don't know what about.
Just make it up. It shows yours for a minute.
All right. Yo, everybody. What would you like me to talk about? I've got a few seconds. Let me scroll through the chat. It is too far behind. No, I'm not that dedicated, PG. I'm just good at finding obscure music. That's my talent.
Am I in trouble?
Okay. No.
Did you
For what?
Did you say terrible things?
Is that my MO?
No. But that if you were playing the long con.
Yes, I've secretly been waiting for me to come on stream for you to walk away for 30 seconds.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. I pretty much implicitly trust you. I mean, so that would be fine. But this is I'm a little uncomfortable like talking about like me this much, but just since you brought that out, I have
Yeah.
this, which
Let me
is
see.
the 7-inch, or one of the 7-inches that we did with a
Yes.
split with a band named Floor, and you can
Yep.
see the bug motif continues.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's like
It's
netting
entomological.
on it, and then when you open it, it's like more bugs,
Yes.
and then
White
more
vinyl.
bugs, and white vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
Floor went on to be have some modicum of success in the doom stoner era, and then they went on to become a band called Torch,
Yeah.
who also got some. They were on not Jimmy Fallon, the guy that used to be with Win Ben Stein's Money. Who's the? Who are the? What are the? Oh my gosh! What are the late night talk shows now? It's Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel. Yes, they
Yeah.
were on Jimmy Kimmel, I think last
Nice.
year, which was pretty neat, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
but-
Spoiler alert. I ordered the vinyls. So
Oh, dear.
I will own them.
I'm surprised they're
Soon.
still available. This was
those are pretty easy to find compared
this is
to
the
the
other
CD.
one. This one, the printing is pretty much gone. There was like some kind of
Yeah,
tissue
that's
on this.
planes that cast
Whoops.
gloom, right?
What's that?
That's planes that cast a gloom.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see it's sort of just silk screened. All that was, hand printed. Oh, actually, this actually kind of works better for this. This camera works better for this interview format. Oh, that's good to know. And that does not. No. I figured that it would be something like that you found.
Yeah.
Tracked
Yeah,
down.
I can't believe I managed to find it. It's pretty hard to find the CD.
I don't know what a waste of money.
It's, everybody collects something.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
right?
That's true. And I appreciate your appreciation of the stuff that I was doing in the 90s,
Yeah.
which it's still very difficult for me to believe that's 26 years ago.
Indeed.
It's very depressing to think about, as a matter of fact.
Sometimes I think about how 2013 was 8 years ago, and I just...
I mean, even that, yeah, like that's like, you look at all, there was that glut of movies that came out from around 2008 to like 2015 or so, that in my head, for some reason, I view those as like, oh yeah, those are movies that came out like a couple of years ago, right? Or a year or two ago, a few years ago.
It's like...
And then you look and it's like,
been
yeah,
almost a decade.
a
at least.
decade ago, exactly.
Yeah.
Time is a flat circle. Wow. So did you had a second story? You said, or you want?
Yeah, I had a second thing. I mean, if you've got other people waiting, though, that's fine. But I was just curious if you were willing to talk about this, if you wanted to talk about, like, gender, because that was a proposed topic that never came to fruition.
I'm always, yes. Let's do that. There is someone in the green room, but let's do that. Let's.
Okay.
Oh, let me stop the.
Scrolling.
Whoop. I just. Okay, that's better. And we can move this down a little out of the way there. In fact, we might as well turn that off for now. Yeah, let's do that, because I feel like I'm honestly, and I apologize for this cue, I'm not sure if I'm gendering you correctly or not.
Yeah, so I'm non-binary, and my pronouns are they, them.
Okay,
So,
because I think I've
yeah.
called you she a few times, and I apologize for that.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. Is it something that? Well, you live in Oklahoma?
Iowa.
It's the same. What are,
Yeah, I know. It's all the Midwest, whatever, right?
so is that? I would imagine. Well, I mean, it's a struggle absolutely everywhere, right? But it's more of a struggle in some areas than others, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that there are, well, I don't know about like hate crimes here, but people are just really just not on board with it, which, whatever, I guess. I'm pretty timid about, having people gender me correctly and things like that, so I just, let whatever fly for the most part, because I am non-confrontational, so.
But have there been times when you're like, okay, that's enough. I'm gonna set this person right, and say, hey, you keep referring to me as she, and I have specifically told you, like, that I'm not to refer to me as she, and you keep doing it. Like, have you had that level of confrontation?
Once in a while with like people I talk to on a regular basis, like friends or coworkers, maybe I'll say like, they'll be like, a lot of times our coworkers will say, "Hey ladies," and I'll just be like, "I am not a lady, thank you." That's all I'll say. Like, I'm just not about it. But I don't want to.
And even that could be misunderstood, right? Because you say, I'm not a lady, and then they'll be like, oh, because lady has that sort of colloquial definition as well, as like, oh, a lady is someone who, behaves in a certain way, right? And
Right.
it might be irrespective of gender, but someone who behaves ladylike, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I could see that, I could see that sucking, basically. And really someone who says, hey, ladies, like right off the bat, isn't that kind of just like a...
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. Yeah, so I was curious. You've kind of talked about gender in bits and pieces and just like not identifying with manhood or anything. I'm not trying to trans your gender. Okay.
This is what apparently, from what Fox is telling me, you are. Fox News has told me that you. That's what this question is. But wait, go ahead, finish the question.
No, I mean, yeah, so I'm just curious, like, what your thoughts are on all of that, like, for yourself, since you kind of don't vibe with it.
Like broadly, it's just people define who they are, right? I feel like people define who they are, and should be respected and addressed as they feel in their bones, not literally in their bones, but
Right.
this is who I am, right?
Right.
I think that whole sort of line that Jordan Peterson talks about, where it's like sort of like a ploy for attention or whatever, it just seems that, like, that to me seems, that argument doesn't even get off the ground, right? Like, it's a struggle for people. It's not something that they enjoy doing, right? Yeah. So I guess I mean, obviously, well, not obviously, but I personally, I identify as he, him. Oops, hold on one second. Or maybe he, they. I don't. I guess when I talk about, it's probably more of a generational thing. Like when I'm talking about eschewing the sort of ideas of masculinity, it's that I don't want to feel like I don't want to adhere to what is traditionally sort of what the traditional gender norm stereotypes are in order for you to be a man, right? And that is something that it was really, really drilled into me, and I think drilled into most people my age and younger, and certainly and even more older, right? When they were younger, when you're at that age where basically everyone around you is calling, like the terms that were being used were, sissy, the word that begins in F and ends in T. I don't even want to say, like, these words were thrown around like they were almost like the word Smurf, right? Like they were just used in every situation, like any time that they would just be inserted, like peppered. Any conversation you would hear among, say, 10-year-olds, like a group of 10-year-olds in the 80s, you would just hear that over and over again. And there was that fear of being identified as the other and therefore sort of complying with the peer pressure to not be like, oh, as long as they're not making fun of me, I don't want anyone to be made fun of, but most of all, I don't want me to be made fun of, right? And that's a self-confidence issue, and it's something that very few young people have. And when I say young, I mean like pre-pubescent or early teen people have, especially at that time when it's like you're maybe experiencing. I mean, you're going through a whole bunch of physical hormonal issues or changes at that time too, and you're maybe not really sure what's going on. I certainly had what I would describe as homoerotic thoughts and or dreams when I was younger, and until current day. So I guess I don't see myself as completely binary, but and that's led me down like some weird, dangerous idea holes, I suppose, because there is a part of me that wonders if I had been brought up in a society where the norm was, where homosexuality was the norm. I kind of feel like that might have happened with me, but that's this really dangerous slippery slope, as I'm sure you know, right? Like you can't say that it is societal factors that causes somebody to be either homosexual or heterosexual or identify as a certain gender or not as a certain gender. It is you as a human being figuring out who you are and who you actually are, irrespective of these outside influences that are constantly kind of pressuring you to say, hey, you have hair on your face, you're a he, right? Or, or you have breasts, you are a she, right? Like that kind of stuff, right? And as I think it took me a long time, and I'm still fighting it, right? I'm still sort of dealing with that situation where, but not to the level that I was, where there was definitely a point in my life where it was just like, I'm not telling anybody that I ever, found Ricky Schroeder attractive, or, that this friend of mine that, I mean, just right straight up, my first sexual experience was a homosexual experience. It was not a heterosexual experience. So, and that's, that was all part of me, like trying to figure out, like I was completely at sea in a way, and trying to not be cast in a certain mold, right? Or forced to comply with a certain set of rules that were laid out for me. But trying to figure, it makes it really hard. And I I wonder about this for you too, Q? Like how I second guess myself all the fucking time, right? And I wonder when I get a thought or a feeling or an urge, I often wonder where that originated. And I sometimes can't even sort of put my finger on it and say, this is originating from my true self. You know, thoughts that occur in anger or occur when I'm in a state of depression or occur when I'm in vulnerable for whatever reason. There's always something like that going on that can skew what a person is thinking, or at least, for me, what I'm thinking. And so then I'm always left with that. Was that thought genuine? How do I actually feel? And I wonder if you have that same experience. Like, I wonder, I guess I wonder, like for me, it's hard for me to tell you with 100% certainty, I am absolutely, without question, 100% cis male. There are parts of me that sometimes question that, I guess. So until those parts of me become the predominant parts of me, or I guess, or their voices get louder, or whatever it is, I will continue to identify with what seems like, we're all legion, right? But what do we have? 100 trillion cells in us, or something like that, right? How many cells do we have in our brain? How many of my brain cells are sort of feeling one way about something as opposed to another? At some point, like, my brain has to come to a consensus and say, okay, this is what I'm presenting to myself as the way I actually feel about this thing, and then this is what I'm going to present to the world. Does any of that strike a chord with you, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I question where my thoughts come from. I mean, I've had like intrusive thoughts, but those are different. But I definitely struggled with coming to terms with being non-binary. When I was in high school, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely cis. and then I realized once I started college, I was like, oh, I'm definitely not. Yeah, I was like, no, that just doesn't feel right. Just does not fit me. So that's, yeah.
But you feel like where you are now does represent your genuine self.
Yeah, I would say so. I don't think I'm binary trans. I don't think I'm a trans man. I'm content with just being kind of in between. That's just kind of how I feel. Yeah.
I think that's awesome. And I apologize for misgendering you, because I know that I have multiple times in the past.
Well, it happens. I mean, I understand it. It's not done out of malice. There's a big difference on intent, I think. So.
Right. Yeah. But but I agree. But on some level, there is, especially if it's someone that you respect and you care about. Oh, actually, it should be everybody. But it's particularly, I think, not really that forgivable if it's someone that you respect and you want to make sure that they feel comfortable with you as well, and that these things add up, right? That can be a sort of death by a thousand cuts. So yeah, I apologize for taking part in that, and I'm sure that I've done it with other people too, and it is generally like, not trying to make an excuse, but it is it's ignorance. It's just me not thinking. But that's it. That was a great topic. I would like to continue it. I would like to. I guess there's a part of me that feels disingenuous, like saying, "Oh, I want to do a whole show around it, because I don't know that my voice is the best voice to lead that conversation or to even. But on the other hand, then using your platform as to be an ally. Gosh, it is a difficult area to navigate. And yes, having thought about it again now, X number of cells in my brain have now overridden the Y number of cells that are now in the minority. And I would like to do this or talk about this as a topic as like the major topic on one of these podcasts.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, I just called this a podcast. One of these.
You have before.
Live streams. But that was awesome. Thank you for bringing that up, Q. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it I forgive you for buying the CD.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it was money I would have given to you if you would let me. So.
I don't see any of that money. I don't know who got that money.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. The guy I bought the vinyls from, I'm waiting for them to get here. I asked him, he was the original owner of them, so I asked him if he'd ever been to the shows, and he had.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I wonder, if you get the opportunity to get his name, I would.
His first name is Hans, so I don't know if you recognize that.
I do know a Hans from back in that time. He was a writer. I wonder if it's the same Hans.
He said that he went to some of your solo shows too, where you played.
I'll bet you it's the same
House
Hans.
Painters covers.
He wrote for local rags, and I think he wrote for newspapers as well, and music zines as well. Interesting. Huh. Crazy. The world is crazy. Thank you for everything you do, Q. I really appreciate that. And I mean, you do a lot, I think, that people don't even know, right? But and I want to call attention to that whenever I can. Like, Q was largely responsible for setting up the Discord. Q has often plugged said Discord, moderated, created the channels on the server, corrected me on the nomenclature, and often pinged me with hey, you might want to do this because this is going on. And that's the only way that I'll get to even know about it, because I am sort of oblivious to that stuff sometimes. So thank you for everything that you do.
Yeah, anytime.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to move on to our next guest, if that's good with you.
Yeah.
All right.
Peace out.
All right, take care. Bye. All right, let me turn my volume back up. That was great. I think definitely is really just like the start of a discussion I would love to have. And I'm guessing that there was some talk going on in the chat. I haven't been able to see it or look at what's going on. But if we were doing something that was more focused, then it would be easier to do that. And so I just want to thank you again and for even also the courage to do that. So coming up now, Lisa was in the green room, but could not wait. I apologize, Lisa. But in the green room right now is somebody that you all know. It is KJ, who is making.
Oh no!
Did you? What was that?
It's not working.
I can hear you fine and see you fine.
Well, nothing on my end is working. Everything's completely still. So.
Really? Okay. Well.
Yeah.
If that doesn't bother you.
Nah, it doesn't bother me any.
I can hear you, and we can see you. You put something blue in front of the camera a moment ago. I don't know what that was.
That was me playing with my other phone.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm talking with other family members and stuff right now.
Okay. Is anything juicy?
Oh, nothing. Just my mom.
Oh, gosh. How are you doing this evening, KJ?
I'm all right.
Are you calling in reference to the extravaganza, or is there something else that was on your mind?
No, I was calling about the thing,
The thing, okay,
the
yeah.
the writing thing.
How's it going? Have you started? Do you have ideas for it? Did you want to talk through ideas? What
I have I have two, but I have absolutely no idea where to start with either one of them.
you have two ideas.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one I like the best.
Are you comfortable sharing them?
Uh, yeah, sure. I've done gone through one Discord of friends about which one sounds better, and they're all got about the same attention span as I have, and I think I lost them about halfway through the first one.
Let's hear it.
Well, the first one, it's a guilty pleasure that I usually like to write, which ends up being mildly romantic while also being very depressing at the same time.
Instead of rom-com, it's a rom-dip.
I
I'm not.
uh
So Romeo and Juliet kind of depressing? Is this what we're?
I'm
Are we talking about star-crossed
that
love, or are we talking about other kind of depressing?
somewhere between Star-Crossed and Romeo and Juliet.
Can you give me any more information?
You see, this is why like I said, I got friends that are just like, you lost me halfway. Uh, no, I already have the two characters in mind, and one of them is, I think he fits up with the depressing part because he's already, you know, he's one of those settled, uh, kind of, I think,
Could,
settled in his ways, kind of thing. And
could
the other one, she's more out there.
could you repeat the first part you said about the first character? I'm sorry, I realized that my earbuds were in backwards, and that was why my ears were hurting so much.
Okay. No, I with this, for lack of anything better, it will be kind of fantasy based because it's what I write best.
High
Uh,
fantasy or low fantasy?
High fantasy. He's a
Hmm.
tiefling.
Oh,
uh, no, he's like I said, he's kind of set with his ways and what he does and everything. And the other character, I said she, but I haven't actually decided yet if it's male or female. And it's not so much one of those. Like I said, it's kind of Romeo and Juliet because the older one is dying, and the other one won't come to terms with it, kind of thing.
is
He's
there?
cursed.
Okay, so it's not an age gap related dying. It is a curse related death.
Yeah,
This is not a May
it's a
December.
yeah. This is one of those. It's an ancestral curse, and he's about at the tail end of it for him.
And she perhaps hopes or the other person perhaps hopes there's a way to lift or uh, otherwise sort of escape the consequences of the curse
Yeah,
through love.
they think love. He's too much of a cynic to believe in love anymore.
Oh, so one of them, but this is sounding a little May December, right? Like you have uh, the jaded party who is cursed, who is nearing death, and then you have the more hopeful party who is not jaded and wants to find a way out, right? Uh,
Right.
Possibly in denial a little bit, right? Is that an accurate way of?
Yeah, because for him, for the dying one, He he's had opportunities before to at least have something resembling a normal life, with somebody else. And he has the very also very distinct disadvantage that anyone he's shown affection to has also passed, either by his hand or by some other somebody,
But not the curse.
but not the curse.
Okay.
He thinks it's an extension of it, and that's why he's kind of putting the other one at arm's distance.
But in reality, or at least
It's just bad timing.
So I like that concept because it would be, I could see a character like the one you're describing who is cursed for some reason, who would essentially use that curse almost as, well, this is the reason for everything bad in my life, right? Maybe even using it as an opportunity to dodge responsibility for some of those things and just be like, well, it doesn't matter because of the curse, right?
Right.
I could try, but I won't because of the curse, right? That sort of thing.
Right.
There certainly seems like there are narrative possibilities there that would be interesting to mine. So, yeah, especially given that 4,000 words is not that many.
Yeah. That's another one of my problems, because when I get into a swing of things, I can either hit that 4,000 pretty quick, not hit it and actually end it fairly shortly, or I'll be looking at something going, I can't turn this in because it's triple what you asked for.
Yeah. My recommendation, although this is obviously not going to work in all situations, but I think my recommendation is like, if you find yourself like, you might be one of those people who are like, I need to start at the beginning. And in order for me to tell the story, I need to start at the beginning, and it's going to go over 4,000 words. And that might be, like, maybe consider that your process, right? So you go ahead and you write the story from start to finish, and you end up with 6,000 to 7,000 or 8,000 words or whatever. But then look at it again and say, well, how can I in medias res this, right? Like, what happens if I start the story, 2,000 words in, right? And I allow the reader to sort of infer a lot of the backstory that I am giving, or that I felt I had to give in this first part of the story. And obviously, it's not going to be just as easy as just like saying, well, chapter 4 is now chapter 1 or whatever, right? Like, I realize that's not the way it works. But maybe there's a way to leave more of that, to leave some ambiguity there and leave something there for the reader to sort of put together. It could make it even more compelling, right? Like, if you're just told everything, sometimes that's not as fun as when you make the connection yourself. This obviously may not apply to you at all. It's more of a sort of like something that I know that I've done in the past in trying to cut something down to about an hour's worth of reading. I will often just be like, well, like I said, like, is this backstory necessary, right? And can we just let people kind of figure out what they can? Just a suggestion. I don't know if it would work for you at all or not, but the idea certainly sounds promising to me.
I'm hoping one of the two work. So
What's the second one?
the second one is well, that one's more of a different character, single person, and once again, it's another high fantasy. I haven't figured out what kind of who or what the character is yet, but just pretty much it's dying thoughts, his or her dying thoughts.
Oh,
I was kind of depressed when I come up with a lot of this.
but I was gonna say I like that. Because there's so many possibilities there, right? Like, nobody knows what even happens in the brain when you're dying, and you could. Are you familiar with the Adrian Lyne film Jacob's Ladder?
I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember bits and pieces of it.
Right. So, spoiler alert for Jacob's Ladder. The movie came out 30 years ago, so if you haven't seen it, but the entire movie is essentially the dying thoughts of the main character. So it's very interesting to see where the brain goes in what is this actually very involving story with a lot of interconnecting parts that it then becomes clear right at the twist. It's kind of a twist. It's kind of more just like, I guess it's a twist. But it is, at the end, a lot of these things make sense. It's not as much of a holy crap moment as like The Sixth Sense, when like all of these pieces immediately fall into place within the space of like 30 seconds of storytelling. And say what you will about M. Night Shyamalan and everything that he's done since The Sixth Sense, I do feel like that was an expert reveal. But it does hit a lot of those same kind of bases where you're like, oh, this is why this happened, and this is why things as you're going through that movie sometimes don't make sense, and there are a lot of like choppy cuts, and you can kind of put those together in your head at the end when you realize what it is that's actually going on. I love both those ideas, KJ. I don't know. I'd be hard pressed to choose one. Have you done anything on them yet apart from
The farthest I've gotten with like the first one was was kind of an introduction thing between the two characters, which was the little love struck one, as a joke telling the other person, he's like, I hate you. And which he just looks and shrugs. He goes, you're allowed that. And I guess because I was going for them to try to think that maybe if I say something different, you'll feel differently. And it's going to be one of those kind of realizations that his attitude is probably how he's going to be all the way up until he's dead.
Change is not easy, right? And even like the oft cited change by near-death experience, like even those end up being ephemeral, it seems, a lot of the time. Although in this case, right, it's not so much a near-death experience, it's a death experience. Right? And have talked about this a little bit before. Certainly in a fiction setting, it can go whatever direction it needs to go in order to fit the format. But I'm of the mind that like any deathbed conversions that a person experiences are not representative of their true self, right? So if you convert to Christianity on your deathbed, that was not representative of who you were in your life. That's something that you're doing out of this intense fear that you're facing at the moment of your death, and you're doing it to sort of get through the moment with as little suffering as you can. The last thing that you did is not the most important thing that you did, and that we talked about this I think last week a little bit, right? Like it can acquire this importance because of the way we experience time, but if you just looked at it like as a chart and that was not chronological in any way, and be like, oh, at this one point for 5 minutes they believed in God, and for 60, 80, whatever, however many years it was, they did not believe in God, just because those 5 minutes were right at the end. I don't find that to be any more significant than if they were right at the beginning or right smack in the middle or anywhere else. So that was a tangent. I'm sorry. I went on a tangent.
It's okay.
On you, KJ. I'm sure you're used to it. So those are both great ideas. It sounds like though you've started one already.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have over a month until the sort of submission deadline. So you could always do both or start both. I wonder if it would be worth doing that, right? Like just take a running start at the Dying Thoughts one, and then just after you're going for a bit on both of them, see which one seems to be flowing better, and then make a choice then.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Because what it is, I write as a habit when I have nothing to do, and so I have a friend of mine who's has permission to get my Google Docs half the time just to see what else I've written out of sheer boredom.
So,
So
excuse me, I just burped. So writing is a thing for you.
it's like a pastime. It keeps me. It started as keeping in unnecessary thoughts in my head.
Yeah. I empathize and sympathize and relate and all that stuff. Has this been something you've been doing for a long time?
Oh yeah, since I was about, I'll say like 13.
I think that's awesome, right? So I'm not telling you any, or I haven't told you anything that you don't know, or probably not giving you any advice that you didn't already know. Maybe that was more for maybe people who were trying to overcome any initial reluctance they had to start writing if they really hadn't done much writing before. So you know the tricks, you know the hurdles, sort of what makes you tick or not tick when it comes to getting something going or getting writer's block or all that stuff. I'm guessing you've run into all of those things.
Oh yeah, because I am actually trying to write a book, and currently I'm right in the middle of a writer's block. So I took this whole thing as an opportunity to get my mind off of it, because I've learned that if I get frustrated and write, it doesn't make sense and it doesn't match up with the flow and theme.
Oh man, I hope it helps. I
I hope so.
to be, I've never written anything that would qualify as a long form. I've never written anything over about 30,000 words. So that tends to be where I completely lose interest in what it is that I'm doing. Even if I go back to it, I'm just like, yeah, I want to move on, right? So writing like full-length novels, I think, is never something that I'll be able to do. But I do love writing short stories, and for me, like a kind of similar, a similar way of getting around that sort of writer's block applies, because sometimes I'll be writing something, I'll get stuck. I'll be like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to write something completely different. And in the middle of writing that, I might get inspired, something might click, and I might actually go back to the thing that I was writing before that I was stuck on. It's interesting how you can make all these connections that just sort of spontaneously occur by essentially like mental masturbation, right? Like that's essentially writing, right? It's your brain playing with itself and finding the most stimulating parts, right, or the parts that stimulate other parts, or unlock gates or lock other gates, right? That's all part of the fun, and I think like the mystery and why, for me anyway, it's one of the reasons I enjoy writing. Is I never know. I know there are people who are like, yep, I know exactly what I'm writing. I know exactly what this story is going to be, and from start to finish, I've got it, right? But for me, it's always very much I have an idea. I have a germ of an idea. Maybe if I'm lucky, I know where I want it to end. But a lot of times it is discovering along the way and hoping that there is something as I'm writing that presents itself to me and says, hey, this is kind of, whoa, wait a minute. You just wrote something here that relates to something that you wrote 3 days ago, and maybe you can tie those things together and make those more of a theme, and maybe that actually implies a direction now, and maybe things are starting to feel more cohesive, and then that cohesion sort of maybe implies a possible ending, or at least potentialities for endings, and other rambly stuff like that. Did I? I didn't help you at all, did I?
It actually helped better than it should have. I have a friend of mine who rambles too, and I just, after about 5 minutes, I was just like, yeah, this is why one ADD person shouldn't have, too in-depth conversation with another ADD person, because I
Are you
honestly
saying-
think they got confused.
Are you saying I was rambling? Just
I ramble a lot too. So,
it's my. I consider it a superpower. It definitely, obviously, depending on your mileage may vary, right? But yeah, I think those are both great ideas, and I hope that I hope you're able to kind of really settle into one and not feel any sort of like kind of second guessing as to whether or not, like, I hope at some point it becomes clear to you, like, yes, this is the one, and you don't end up writing the entire thing and submitting it and even questioning after that, like, should it have been this one or should it have been that one? Just because I know how annoying that can be.
yeah, hopefully I can make up my mind. I'll probably figure which one I settle in probably about halfway between either one of them.
And you can always finish both, right? And just submit
Yeah.
one. I really want to, I feel like I've gotten a few questions, like DM questions or whatever, that to me imply either that somebody already has a story and is asking me a question to see if the story they've already written would qualify, when I would really, really like this to be stuff that people are writing between now and the deadline. And then something else which slipped my mind completely. Had a point, lost it. But
At first I wasn't going to do it because currently in my head floats around every other idea I'm working on that has already established characters and stuff. And I was like, no, he said new.
well, characters that you have in your head or that you've been thinking about, I think that's totally valid. I just what I was trying to avoid was okay, I might win money from this. Let me grab this story that I have sitting in my cabinet and just submit it just for the heck of it. Because the goal is just to try and get people to write, right? That's the goal. So if you have characters that you've been toying around with in your head that you haven't put to paper yet or haven't developed a cohesive story around, I think that's perfectly valid.
Okay.
And ultimately, I can't police any of that anyway, right? Like, there's no way for me to know. So, you do you.
Okay.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or anything questions you have?
No.
Or?
Not that I can think of, not right off the top of my head.
Okay, then I'm gonna hang up.
I have, like I said, today's been one of them days I've had everything else on my mind. So
Yeah. Is it anything else on your mind that you want to bring up, or is it? I don't want to.
Nah, I'm good right now.
All right. Yeah, I don't want to pry. Well, thank you for calling in, KJ, and I hope that you're able to settle on what you want and are happy with. Really, I just hope that you're happy with the end result. And hopefully win some money. That'd be good too.
Alrighty, you have a good night.
You too. Thank you, KJ, and thank you for always being around and coming around and for everything that you contribute to the discussion.
No
You're always
problem.
very thoughtful, and I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Cool. So I guess that's probably it for the interviews tonight. Lisa S., you had called in, but I'm guessing that you had to go. I'm sorry you were on hold for quite a while, but I wanted to be sure to give the appropriate amount of time to the stuff that Q was talking about. And I don't even think I did. I think obviously that needs more time. I do want a quick look at the old comments here that have been going on for a bit. Make sure there's nothing that I'm missing. While I'm doing this, let me watch this. It's good to have this on the back burner there. Oh, wait a second. Okay. Since we're winding down a little bit, it's probably good to have a little bit of ASMR. Oh, Levy, I'm not sure what you're referring to here, but this does not sound good. Oh, wait, it depends on the... Okay, sorry. People talking about Pokemon. I have nothing to add to that conversation. Yes, there are no atheists in foxholes. I would say that there are atheists in foxholes, those that adhere to the courage of their convictions. I would say I would almost want to invert that, just like I like to invert ignorance is bliss to bliss is ignorance. I would almost say there are no true Christians in foxholes. Everyone is being driven by fear. Talking about age gaps, maturity levels. I don't want to get into this too much, but there was definitely a point, and it was not that long ago, where my thoughts on age gaps were much less stringent than they are now. And it was more about like, oh, well, is the person mature enough to know, to really be giving informed consent, to really know what it is that they're agreeing to. I've since heard others' opinions and tried to take them to heart. And I guess my fear there is that it's kind of impossible to know. So that's just me personally, right? Seems like this mic. Oh, there it is. It's fine. It just doesn't seem to want to. There we go. Oh, good night, Exava. I'm going to be signing off in a moment here too, I think. Leah, I saw your avatar out of the corner of my eye as I was speaking to Q. It's good to see you. Oh my gosh. Oh, I haven't done this. Yes, I do need to do that. Ecamm has given me the ability to ban in chat, but not the ability to mod in chat. So I got to remember that. A lot going on. No, I don't feel trepidation. I actually really enjoy reading what everybody writes. And they're often sort of the starting points, the triggers in a positive way for further discussion. I don't know if you're referring to me or not, or if you're talking to Q. I think both. I don't think I opened up that much. You're always taking a calculated risk. It's all about mitigation, right? Oh, no, thank you, Q. Thank you, Old Man Hiver. And yeah, there are certainly issues with this. Okay. I think it's time to wrap up a bit and just, say to everybody that I really appreciate you all coming, and, I don't want this to be just boilerplate stuff that I'm saying every time, although I really do appreciate it, and this really is sort of an escape for me. I'm gonna fix you. Look at the color on that. It's terrible. Those reds are just out of control. Isn't that so much more pleasant? Might have to get another Blackmagic camera. Oh my gosh. Oh, Dustin. Look, Dustin came out of the... I don't recall seeing you before, but thank you for saying that you enjoyed listening. I enjoyed that you were there to listen. I appreciate all of you. I care about all of you in so much as I can care about people that I haven't met. But there is genuine, I genuinely feel touched by your stories and concerned about your plights, and want you all to do well. And I want me to do well too. So I'll put on sunscreen. I guess that's the takeaway from tonight is put on sunscreen. Thank you all. I will see you all next week or possibly sooner. We'll see. Depends. You hear a helicopter coming by. This is because of the president's congressional address. All right. I'll talk to you all soon. Good luck with your stories. Remember to hit the Discord and the Writers Workshop channel on the Discord server. I'm so good at this now. I'm an expert. It's quite loud. I don't know, with the music maybe you can't hear it, but all right, let's see how loud it gets. It's loud. There was one earlier today that was shaking the house. No, didn't get that close. All right, before any more disappointments, good night, everybody. I'll talk to you all. See you all soon.